Hey everyone, Dale here with Pacific Sun Technologies. Now I'm kind of not feeling well for the most part. I've been sick the last couple days. I know we just published a video that I filmed last week regarding Enphase's battery compared to Canadian Solar's EP Cube. Great video, definitely check that out. But actually today's video I have to do a live stream on because NEM 3.0 is coming, and the California Public Utilities Commission has published some modeling proposal. There's still a final proposal, from my understanding, to come before November 30th that the utilities need to submit. That final proposal is supposed to be under 15 pages and have a much clearer guidelines and understanding of how this new program will work. It's important to note that NEM 3.0 will actually be called net billing. They're completely changing net energy metering altogether. Now, I wanted to kind of show some of this stuff online to help you mitigate, find your way about it. It's important to note that if you're thinking about going solar, you probably don't want to wait too much longer, because even if this doesn't pass in December, because it's going to be voted on December 15th, even if it doesn't pass in December, it's clear that the utilities company and the California Public Utilities Commission are looking to change the game for solar and for how it benefits customers at the end of the day. And what we're seeing with net billing is you're ultimately still going to get an electric bill, and your savings that if you go solar today will be a thing of the past under net billing. So let's take a look at some of the things online. So I'm going to switch between my cameras a little bit, but we can check out what the Public Utilities Commission of California has kind of published. This is online. I will put these links in the description for you down below. And while you're down there, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. That way you can stay informed about this important information, as well as the products that we offer and how they're going to benefit you. In terms of the NEM, the big thing, all this started with the idea that the grid needs to be modernized. That's the big thing that they're trying to argue, is that there's so much solar on the grid, the utility company is losing money, they have to manage it, all this stuff. I mean, it's a lot of different things. I really don't know if any of it's true. Obviously, it costs money to manage the grid. Like I said, I'm not feeling great, so excuse me while I catch my breath. But anyways, there's a lot of solar on the grid, and it's affecting the profit of the utility companies at the end of the day. Wow, I was fine, and then we started this live video, and now I can't breathe. So give me a minute. Okay. So basically, the utilities have been trying to come up with an idea with the Public Utilities Commission on a new program that would help balance the grid. Because what's happening is there's a lot of solar being generated during the day, and it's ultimately being sent to the utility company who is losing money on this energy. I don't know how they're losing money, because when you understand distribution, the power from solar that you generate literally goes to your neighbor. They get to sell it to them. If they don't have solar, they're buying your solar power from you at full retail price. So, I mean, there's some aspect to managing the grid, but other parts I have a hard time believing. 1 second again. All right, let's try this again. I'm really sorry. Like I said, I'm not feeling very well. But this is important, and we have to get this information out. So as I've gone through this thing on the California Public Utilities Commission, there's the PDF proposal that you can download. This thing is over 200 pages long. So it's ridiculous, and that's why the Utilities Commission has basically said there needs to be a summary proposal that's less than 15 pages. That has to be made available to the public before November 30th. Hopefully, they do provide this summary before then or right at it. I mean, with the holidays, this is kind of scandalous in my opinion on what's going on, because not a lot of people are going to be able to pay really close attention with the with the with the holidays. I mean, everybody's got a lot of other things on their mind than having to worry about California passing some legislation that basically makes it pointless to go solar. I mean, really, you can still save money, and I'll show you. I don't know how they come up with their numbers in this proposal. The important part is if you scroll to the last couple pages, like I said, this thing is very long. You scroll through it, it's full of different stuff. There's some really important stuff in here, as you can see. So what they're basically going to be doing under net billing is they want you to buy batteries. They don't want to, so I'm going to pull that over. They don't want your power that you generate. They don't. It's costing them money. So what instead, they want to give you basically 20% of what they would charge you. And I'll show you how this balances out. But basically, so this is what they would charge you. Say, this is an example, 20 cents a kilowatt hour. Well, if you were exporting to them, maybe they'd pay you 5 cents or 6 cents. Again, this is an example, and it's going to change every hour. So depending on that time of day is how much energy they're going to, how much credits they'll give you. Now, what they want to do is shift you to actually own batteries and then export your batteries to the grid, because that's where they have issues with the grid. Is we have an abundance of energy during the day and not enough at night, when everybody starts getting home from work. So basically you're going to earn a little bit of power, or a little bit of credits during the day for your solar. But if you have batteries, you export your batteries to the grid for them to use that power, and they'll basically give you full price. So definitely a flip in the structure, but basically you have to have a lot of storage. It's a balancing act, and you're going to see how I've made this work out in an Excel spreadsheet. It's not super favorable, and I'm kind of confused. Now, here are some of the rates that they're talking about in that regards. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We're primarily in Edison's territory, so you have time of use post. So you'd be on D prime. For Edison, SDG&E, you're on TOU5, EV, rate structure, PG&E. It's this E-Electric. This is a brand new one that they just got approved. A lot of this seems weird because they keep talking about the CARE program and low income and things that I don't know how they really pertain towards solar. They have some estimated costs on how they came up with, the return on investment period. Basically, what their overall goal is to, the California Public Utilities told them that the payback period has to be less than 10 years. And so that's, you basically tell someone, hey, it has to be 10 years. What do they come back with? 9 years. Great. So they built the structure where if you go solar with or without, and then the payback period has to be faster if you get batteries. So if you get solar only, it has to be less than 10 years. And then if you get batteries, it has to be less than the people that get just solar. So it's a little weird on how they're structuring this. And I don't know where they came up with these numbers. Now, the California Association of Solar, CALSA, the solar, they have a very long name, but they fought in regards to some of the numbers they came up with. Solar at basically $3.30 a watt, and that's what this is basically coming out to. I don't know if they're taking into account what type of equipment they're looking at, what type of financing, if any, if this is just cash stuff. I mean, there's a lot of variables here that are really difficult to come about. Now, this number that they came up with for a battery, this isn't about kilowatt hours. This is the AC output of the battery. Now, most batteries on the market are hybrids. Well, there's AC coupled batteries. Enphase is an AC coupled battery. This is difficult because, with Enphase, basically they're saying that the battery should only cost, fully installed, $7,600. And I don't know a single battery that could be installed for $7,600. Honestly, I don't know anything that could be installed that way. So, yeah, and again, they were talking about how this is before the tax credit. I ran the numbers on a 6 kilowatt solar system, and basically that 6 kilowatt solar system with an Enphase IQ10 battery, I was using Q cell modules. Our cost, what we were looking at for that system, was nowhere near the cost that they're estimating. I mean, they were off by a significant amount. And I was looking at it cash and just trying to bring the numbers down as much as I could to try and figure out where the heck they pulled some of these numbers, especially for the batteries. So, anyways, if you scroll down, there's a lot of more data in here. Yeah. Anyways, so if you go on Edison's website, you can learn about time of use and the different rates. There's shifts in these rates that are coming about. So you can see now there's a baseline for time of use. So people, if you have a heat pump, they're going to be adding other electrical components. So you get a baseline credit and then the credit changes. So we're getting now a tiered time of use rate structure. I don't know. We're getting more complicated for sure. And then, of course, if you go solar, you're going to end up on TOUD prime, which is pretty much a flat rate most of the time, and then a very high rate between 4 and 9. The rate changes depending on winter and summer, though it isn't drastic. So you can see all this. Edison has this notice on their website now, which is kind of nice. And they basically say, hey, there's a proposal out, and we're going to be changing the rate structure. And they're pretty confident this is going to go through. And I kind of feel that it probably is going to go through, because it's not looking like it's not going to go through. As we had a lot of advocates back in January, February, when they were trying to push this proposal originally. There wasn't a lot that's changed from that original proposal to the proposal today. There are some changes, but not as much of these changes that probably need to occur in order to still make solar a viable option in the state of California. I mean, we're the sunniest state. We get the least amount of rain. I mean, we're in a damn drought, and we have an electrical problem. No, we don't have an electrical problem. We have a greed problem. We have a political problem. And if, we can't figure this out in this state, that's been the forefront, I mean, we got a big freaking problem. I mean, literally, we have a big problem. So Edison's put out some stuff on here. You can, click and learn more, and they take you to this little fact sheet, which is nice. It goes over this. This is, 3 pages. This might be the proposal that they were required to submit. I don't know. I don't know for sure if this is the summary proposal, but it might be. And you can clearly say new residential customers installing solar will save $100 a month on their electric bills on average. I don't know how that's going to be possible under this program. And then if you go with batteries, you get a solar and a battery, you could save at least $136 a month on average. Again, I don't know how they're coming up with these numbers. There's still a lot more information to be provided. Net billing might work out. I don't know. It might be a good thing. It might be better if you get a solar plus battery system, but you're going to have more costs associated with the project. There is also additional state funding that's going to be approved with this legislation, potentially over $900 million, but there's an asterisk to this. So this little asterisk, well, $630 million of that $900 million is allocated for low-income families. What's a low-income family in California? Well, someone that makes, I think, under $40,000. I don't know. You can look it up. I think it's city or state or county based. So I don't know what Riverside County's low-income housing is. I don't know what the qualifications are going to be, and I don't know how much money you'll get. This rebate's for customers to help subsidize the cost of the battery. So, it's like if the system's going to cost $40,000 and you're a low-income house and you only make $40,000 a year, it's going to be pretty hard for you to, 1, pay cash for it, and 2, to finance it. I don't know a lender that's going to do 100% DTI. I mean, they own the house. Usually, they probably bought it before the prices have gone through the roof, but that's not necessarily California's fault. That's more of a, fundamental government issue that I don't need to really get on. So back to this little article. So obviously, one thing to really important, this will not affect customers that currently have solar and currently have NEM. So you don't have to worry if you go solar right now before this takes effect, which if it gets voted on in December 15th, you have until April 15th to have your solar system installed and have your NEM application submitted to be grandfathered in for 20 years under the current NEM 2.0 program. So let's look at an Excel spreadsheet that I've kind of put together. It's not great. Again, I'm not feeling well, so I'm just kind of putting some stuff together to try and, really figure out what's going on here. So this is a weird little, this is a kind of a weird thing I put together. So the average cost of solar per kilowatt hour around 44 cents. When you take that high and the low, the 35 cents and the 44 cents, and let's say your annual usage is 977 kilowatt hours a year. Well, your average utility bill is going to be somewhere around $355, at this cost. If we change this, obviously that price goes down, but let's stick with what I kind of feel the average is right around here because of time of use. Now, let's say you just bought a solar system that just is going to do 100% offset. We just 101% offset, 6 kilowatt, average daily solar production, average monthly solar credits you're going to earn. You're basically it's dollar for dollar. So you're basically going to offset 100% of the system. So, monthly solar payment, again, this is just an estimate. I'm just trying to throw out a number. So a 6 kilowatt solar system, maybe you're paying $101 a month. Okay, cool. You don't have a utility bill anymore. Your cost for electricity is $101. That's that solar payment. This I based on a 20-year loan, I think. And there you go. You're saving $254 a month. Pretty simple. That's the current NEM program. This is the program you want to be under. This is the program that is really beneficial to you. You're saving a lot of money, as you can see. Supposedly, in that 200 plus proposal that the utility companies published, they're saying, oh, customers don't save any money. They don't save any money. The math is the math at the end of the day. What numbers they're pulling out of their ass, I have no idea. But let's move back on. So let's look at the proposed net billing for solar only. So there's a lot more going on here. As you can see, I got to zoom out a little bit for this so you can fit it all. And the battery is even longer. So we still have an average cost per kilowatt hour. So your old bill used to be $355, same amount of usage. Now we can do it at 100%. So I'm going to change that. So let's say you did it at 100%. You got 6 kilowatt solar system generating, well, your average solar credit. So there's two things they're going to do. So they're only going to pay you around 20% of the cost that they would have normally charged you. So if they normally would have charged you 44 cents, again, this is going to change throughout the day. So I'm doing it on an average. So let's say it's at 9 a.m. Well, maybe the cost of energy is 25 cents at that time. So and you're sending them power, you might only be earning 4 or 5 cents at that time. Now there's an adder, there's an adjusted credit adder or something they're adding for the first 4 years under the net billing program. So customers that get signed up under net billing for the first 4 years, you can get an extra bump in credits for the excess energy you send. It's not significant. You get 9 cents, this is for Edison, you'll get 9 cents if you're a CARE program, so someone that's on low income, and you'll get 4 cents if you're a normal customer without low income credits. So back to the formula. So basically, here's that adjusted cost calculator. So you're going to get 11 cents a kilowatt hour for your solar, and 4 cents as it adjusted. So on average, you're going to get a credit of $121 a month in solar. Well, you used power still. So your solar payment's $101. Well, you still have a utility cost after solar, so your total cost with your utility bill now, this is your adjusted cost with the solar bill, which this might end up being lower, because the rate's going to be a little bit different, but they're still going to charge you full price. So I don't know how much lower this could be. It's a give and take. So basically your net monthly cost, which is your solar payment, and the adjusted utility cost after your solar credits is $335. How much are you saving? $20 a month. They say you're gonna save $1,000 a month. I don't know how. I really don't know how you're gonna save $1,000 a month, or a year, I'm sorry, a year, after going solar under net billing. There are a lot of numbers in that proposal, and a lot of it is just modeling. So it's not even, they're not even giving you the full details. That's why we need, hopefully, this next proposal to actually give some insight on how this is all gonna work if this proposal really goes through. Fingers crossed it doesn't, people, but trust me, if you've been on the fence about going solar, you do not want to wait, because you're going to have to buy batteries afterwards. And so this is what you're looking at. You can still go solar. You can still save some money. Not as much as is the current program. Look, you're saving $254 a month. That's a significant savings. You wait, and if net billing goes through, well, you're only going to save 20 bucks. So go California. You know, what's a good way to stick it to the people. And then we can adjust this. You know, say you're on care, maybe you're low income, so you're going to earn a little bit more. You know, you're going to save 60 bucks. You know, that's good. I mean, you know, customers that are low income need as much savings as possible, but I don't think a customer on low income has an electric bill of $355. Truthfully, most of them, you know, their bill tends to be around $100, $150, and they're getting subsidies. They're usually getting 30 or 40% off anyways off their utility bill. So their savings, I don't know if the savings will be that drastic for them to actually encourage them to even go solar, for that matter. So now here's the net billing proposal. It gets even more complicated. As you can see, I got to zoom out a lot more to make this fit on the screen for you. Again, I have to divide it up because you have off-peak and you have on-peak, because they basically split this all up. So here's your average cost if you haven't gone solar with batteries, right? So we're spending around 311, still 9,700 kilowatt hours of usage a year. Now you bought a much bigger solar system. I'm gonna change this to 100% offset, so we're back to a 6 kilowatt solar system. You know, that's your daily solar production. Now we're looking at storage. They want you to store this power and not send it to them. So I'm doing a pretty big Enphase system. This is 21 kilowatt hours. It's pretty big, but I'm gonna go down to something that we tend to see more of our customers get, which is the 10.5. Now this is 100% depth of discharge. So you're literally trying to put all the battery into the grid during that little 4-hour window, because as you recall, they had that special rate. So we can go back. So they had that little graph they're showing right here. Right here, they're showing. Look at how much they're willing to pay you at 8 o'clock. They'll pay you over 30 cents a kilowatt hour. Again, this is an example modeling, but they're paying you more between 4 and 9, and the biggest is between 7 and 8. They're going to pay the most money. So basically, you got to discharge your battery, all of that power, in 2 hours. You don't even get to use it for your home. They just want you to get rid of it. So let's go back over to the Excel spreadsheet and continue looking at this. So this is the annual battery storage. So your solar has to restore this battery. So this is how much energy the solar is going to put into the battery over the year. Remember, you're only going to generate 9,700. So about a third of it's going to go into the battery, and you're going to discharge 100% of it. You know, for the whole year, every day you're going to discharge 100% of that battery in 2 hours to the grid. You're going to get some credits for your solar, because obviously each day you're going to generate a little bit more. So you're still going to get some solar credits. You know, you have that adjusted again as well. And the rate's much lower when you, again, look back at that graph. You know, we're looking at about 6 cents. You know, so you get that adjusted 4 cents per kilowatt hour. That's only for the solar. That's not going to be applied to the battery. The battery, they're going to pay you a lot more, 35 cents. So what's the monthly credits? We're looking at $47 in monthly credits. Yes, I've ran through the numbers over and over thinking this is wrong. That's just for the solar. This is the battery credit. So yeah, substantial monthly credits total, $160 in credits. Well, the bill was $311. So you did not earn enough credits to offset your electric bill. I'm sorry, it didn't work. So your solar payment with batteries, probably going to be close to $178 a month. you're still going to have a utility bill of around $151. Well, guess what? You've just spent more than if you just bought the power from the utility company. How much more? $18 more. And you're supposed to be able to pay this off in less than 10 years. I don't know the numbers they have in their proposal. And, I'm not a mathematician, but someone, please, down in the comments, help me figure out how they're going to do this. And if you don't know, how am I supposed to know? And how are you going to know as a consumer? So hopefully there's a mathematician watching that can go through the 250 pages of the California Public Utilities Commission proposal that the utilities have submitted to them that's full of a lot of bumfutter and not really helpful information in my regards. There's a lot of arguments because a lot of it has to just do with, this is this modeling that they do. They're giving reasoning to how they came up with some of the things that they did and why they want to transition to net billing from the current NEM 2.0 program. Don't get me wrong. There is an infrastructure management cost. Absolutely. The utility companies have to maintain the grid. It's not a government entity that manages the grids. So these private companies, it's their responsibility to keep the electricity on, to keep the power lines safe, to prevent forest fires during high wind situations. We've had a lot of that. PG&E has filed for bankruptcy multiple times because they've burned down half of California. And they can just avoid it. They get sued, they got to pay millions of dollars, and we got to file bankruptcy. We're not going to be able to cover that $350 million. So sorry. But hey, you know what? We're increasing our rates. That's great. So if you're thinking about going solar, you're probably going to want to consider getting a quote sooner rather than later. If you've been on the fence about it or you're thinking about putting it off, you don't want to do it, because even if this does not go through in December, again, it's supposed to be voted on December 15th. We're supposed to see the final proposal this month, before the end of the month, November 30th. So I'll probably be doing another video, so be sure to subscribe. So maybe I'll have more accurate numbers. Maybe net billing won't be that bad. But for right now, with what I have, it doesn't look great. So it looks like it's something that is really going to be detrimental. The only reason you'd want to go solar is because it's good for the environment. Really, that would be the only benefit. You're not going to save much money after December 15th if this goes through. Now, you'll have 120 days, basically until April 15th, to have your system installed. For most companies, if this does get passed, obviously we're going to see a wave of customers rushing to go solar, and there's going to be bottlenecks all the way through. We're getting out of this pandemic and getting out of these inventory shortages. There's still shortages in some of the industry with electrical breakers and circuit panels. There's still some shortages, not as drastic as it was maybe a year ago. But if there's going to be a mad influx in consumers rushing to go solar, there's not enough manpower to install all this simultaneously. And the jurisdictions are incredibly slow these days. My God, are they slow and really bad. And then if you want batteries, well, California come January 1st is basically telling you won't be able to put them in your garage. Your battery has to be outside come January 1st of 2023. The electrical codes that they've implemented here in the state is so against battery, it's asinine. It is absurd with how restrictive they are making it. I understand there's safety concerns with some of the technology on the market, but my God, California, could you make it any harder for people to do anything? Really? I hope one of the politicians that recently got voted in is watching my video. I doubt it, but maybe one of my viewers can share this video and tag them in it, because you guys are not doing anybody any good in the state that wants to be 100% green by 2030. Guess what? We won't achieve it with this agenda with net billing. If it's all about padding the pockets of the utility companies and allowing them to continue to monopolize on the infrastructure in this state. I mean, if you look at other states like Texas, did you know you can pick your own utility company in Texas? They have the infrastructure there, and just like you can call up your different cable provider and they use the same damn lines that go into your house, you just get billed differently from a different company. You can do the same thing in Texas and in Florida. You can pick your utility company. You can't do that in California. You're either in Edison's territory, you're either in SDG&E's territory, you're either in PG&E. You can't, or you're in a small municipal. You have no control. The only control that's thankfully come about in California is the ability to go solar and really tell the utility company, like, F off. You know, I don't want to pay you $300-400 for the very little bit of power I need, compared to many other states that are paying a fifth of the cost of the energy we do. Now, I don't know. I don't know how energy can vary so greatly in a state that has an abundance of renewable energy sources available to it compared to other states. I don't know how that's possible for us to pay such a premium in this state. It really baffles me. But regardless, you know, you're going to want to go solar. You definitely want to stay informed about this. And if you're able to, you know, email, Newsom, email whoever. I don't know. I don't follow politics all that well. Just email everybody. Email Allison. She's the president of the California Public Utilities Commission. Email her. Voice your opinion as a consumer. If they're not going to give us good numbers and they're going to try and scramble it up in this mumble jumble bullshit, and make it seem and try and magically, shine this shit as it's something sparkly and it's going to give us, people are going to save thousands of dollars after the switch. It's BS. You're not. There's no way net billing is going to fundamentally make sense in our particular state with the cost of how things are. Solar's not the cheapest in our state. It just isn't. And if you want a premium product, well, the price is going to be even more. I mean, you're basically, what are they basing it off of? Just the cheapest Chinese solar panels they can get their hands on that, they say have a 20-year life, but I mean, I don't know what they're using. I mean, California requires you to have rapid shutdown compliancy. That means there has to be a device connected to every module on the roof that basically during an emergency, if you pull that disconnect, that there's no DC voltage coming out of the panel. It literally has to stop at the panel. So you either have to have microinverters, you have to have optimizers with SolarEdge, which don't get me on SolarEdge. They got a huge failure rate. Or you have to use jerry-rigged fire optimizers from like SunSpec certification. AP System makes them that can use with an SMA, and then you don't get the module level monitoring. I'm beyond confused of what's going on in this regards. But there's just so much going on, and you're going to want to do your research. You're going to get way less money for your excess energy and without a battery at the end of the day. I did mention that the only thing, there was a change from the original proposal, and they're not taxing it, and it really wasn't a tax per se, but basically the utilities company wanted to, one, not pay you anything for the excess solar you sent to them, but two, wanted to charge you a price per kilowatt of your system size. So if you got like a 5 kilowatt system, they wanted to charge you $10 per kilowatt or $8 a kilowatt, whatever it was going to be based on that utility provider. So you'd still get a fixed cost plus your utility bill for being connected to, they wanted to charge you to send them power. So they can sell it to the neighbor that doesn't have solar, or sell it to that apartment complex that doesn't have solar, or sell it to that condominium that doesn't have solar. There's a lot of buildings that don't have solar, and when solar enters the grid, guess where energy goes? It just becomes energy, and it just flows. It just goes. It's not like you can control where it goes. So I don't know. It helps bring down their distribution costs. So I don't understand how it's costing them more money. I really have a hard time with that. But anyways, there's some great articles. I'll put these links down in the description below for you. This website that I found is just solar.com. I don't know. It's probably just an ad. I wouldn't request a quote from this company because they're probably going to sell you to like 50 other solar companies. But if you want a quote, get one directly from us. We're here in Marietta. We service LA, Riverside County, Orange County, San Diego County, San Bernardino, parts of San Bernardino County. And you're going to want to go solar rather soon. So I know it's the holidays. I know it sucks. But this is pressing. I mean, I can't stress this enough. And I'm not trying to just scare you. I'm scared for the industry as a whole because we're probably going to see a 50% drop across the board in installers in this industry. You know, I think we'll be fine in this industry, but I can't say the same for a lot of the larger businesses that they run on very, very, very thin margins. You know, so that cost of solar that's been going down, it's going to start going back up because there's going to be fewer companies to compete with. And it's not going to be as economical. So it's going to be far and in between. You're not going to get every customer to go solar. Right now, we can help customers with a $100 bill. Go solar, they help the environment, they're going to save money, and they're locked in. They don't have to worry about rising rates. That won't be a thing. Basically, people that want to go solar after, if net billing goes through, you're looking at customers $300, $400, $500 for them to even consider it. And they're not even saving that much money, you know? So what's $20 to someone if they already spend $300 a month and they're still going to spend about $280? Like, I mean, $20 is a hard swing for me to save $100 a month. I mean, what am I? That's not really big savings, you know, like we're getting right now. But that's it. Hopefully this live stream went well. I haven't really done one like I just did, you know, using the software I did. So hopefully it worked out. Please be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be adding the links down in the description below. Please share this video. Let's try and bring some attention to this because this is really important, and it's going to take everybody in California, all of us, to, you know, stand up to the California Public Utilities Commission, to stand up to the utility companies and say, no, this is not acceptable. If we want to be 100% renewable energy by 2030, this is not the approach. There needs to be, you know, another revision. There needs to still be some consideration taken in terms of, you know, how I can save money with me making this investment for the grid. Because if I don't make the investment, the utility has to make the investment basically at the end of the day, because California their goal is to be by 2030. So, you know, you should be compensated for going solar. At the end of the day, you should be able to save money because you're helping the utility company. You're helping the agenda of the state. So that's it. I don't want to get into any more details, but this is a pressing matter. You know, hope to, you know, be speaking to many of you very soon. Thanks for your time. See you in the next one.